In 1995, the Hubble Space Telescope took an image of part of the Eagle Nebula, M16. The image is iconic and is called the Pillars of Creation because stars are formed in this part of space. I decided to see if I could take a picture of M16 as well, from our drive, approximately 7,000 light years away. Hello everybody, this is my first imaging session of the new season really, and it's just turned August, so it's the 8th of August, and just up there, I don't know if you can see it, there's Saturn and Jupiter. So Jupiter on the left and Saturn is actually just on the right, a bit further along, and I decided, bit of a challenge this one, to do M16, which are the Pillars of Creation or the Eagle Nebula, and I've literally just managed to get set up and you can just see the pillars just there on my image. Now it was an interesting challenge today because it took a while to remember how to set everything up, and also because it's so low in the sky, you can see when I go onto the telescope that the telescope is actually shooting almost horizontally, because M16 is always really low in the sky from where I live here in the UK. So I decided to use the native focal length of the scope, so we're on 714mm focal length, and I'm using a 1x Flash-Narrow as well. So let's go and have a look at the scope. Here we go, my 294C that you can see there from Altair, and 290C guide camera, and you can see that the scope is almost horizontal, and my customary light pollution filter is that piece of wood there, and just above it is the street lamp, but behind it cuts it out, putting the scope into darkness.
Exposure started.
So that's astrophotography tool telling me that it's just done another exposure. Let's have a look at the guiding. So my guiding's not particularly brilliant, it has to be said. On one side it's kind of flat and it looks okay, but on the other side it's kind of a bit lumpy and not particularly brilliant. 1.43, so it's not particularly brilliant, but we'll see how the images come out afterwards. I'm really chuffed to be able to get any data at all on M16. It's been something I've wanted to image ever since seeing the iconic image from Hubble. I've wanted to try and produce my own mini version of it, so I'm hoping that this will be it. This is the stacked information from Deep Sky Stacker, and I've put it into PixInsight here, and I've just taken a screen grab. The one thing which is really interesting looking at this data, because I managed to get about an hour and a half's data, is I can see all these funny lines going across, and I discovered there's a really good script, and that script is called the Cannon Banding Reduction. So if we go back to our picture, which we have here, it actually got rid of this banding completely from it, and all you have to do is apply that to your image by going to the script, utilities, and Cannon Banding Reduction, and then apply that to your image, and it will remove that banding completely. It's pretty good, it's really good. But my image is still really noisy, and although I've only got a fan-cooled camera, it's not properly cooled, so I was kind of expecting a lot of this, so I had to do a fair amount of processing in PixInsight. This was the finished session in PixInsight, and I had to do a fair amount of different processes. Some of them are not visible there as well. and this one here was the finished image. I sometimes think I crush the blacks too much on these images, and I think that's because my monitor is too bright, and as a result I'm bringing down the brightness to compensate for my monitor being too bright. So I need to have a look at that to see if that's that's what's causing my images to be quite dark in the sort of sky area around the nebula. But this is the finished image. This is my version of M16, the Eagle Nebula.